The stars stretched across the viewing panel like scattered diamonds on black velvet. Kate Morgan pressed her palm against the cold surface, watching as her homeworld grew smaller behind the ship. She had never imagined leaving Earth, but here she was on a vessel bound for the outer colonies. The transport hummed beneath her feet, a constant reminder that she was no longer walking on solid ground. 20 days had passed since the Zora arrived in Earth orbit, their massive ships casting shadows over cities worldwide. Kate remembered the panic, the chaos that followed. But the aliens had not come to conquer. They came seeking help. Their own world was dying, and they needed humans with specific genetic markers to help restore their biological systems. Kate was one of those humans. The selection process had been quick and clinical. Kate still remembered the strange blue light washing over her body as alien devices scanned her genetic code. The tall, slender Zora scientist with skin like polished silver had simply nodded and added her name to the list. No explanation, no choice. Just the firm understanding that refusing meant consequences for all of Earth. A soft chime interrupted her thoughts. The door to her quarters slid open, revealing Tara, the only other human Kate had regular contact with aboard the ship. Tara stepped inside, her red hair floating slightly in the lower gravity. The engineers had adjusted ship conditions to accommodate human biology, but some differences remained noticeable. "They want us in the lab," Tara said. Her voice was steady, but Kate noticed the tension around her eyes. "Something about final preparations before we reach their homeworld." Kate nodded and followed Tara through the winding corridors of the ship. The walls pulsed with soft blue light responding to their movement. Unlike human technology, the Zora built living ships. Vessels grown rather than constructed. Surfaces that responded to touch, temperature, and light that adjusted automatically to the needs of passengers. The science was beautiful, even if their situation was not. The laboratory doors parted silently as they approached. Inside, 3 Zora scientists moved with fluid grace around equipment Kate still could not fully comprehend. Despite weeks of training, the purpose of many devices remained mysterious. The lead scientist Neri turned as they entered, her 7 feet of height, forcing Kate to tilt her head back to meet her gaze. Unlike humans, Zora eyes had no pupils, just swirling pools of silver that seemed to contain galaxies. "The adaptation process will begin tomorrow," Neri announced. Her voice had a musical quality that all translator devices failed to fully capture. "Your bodies must be prepared for Zora atmosphere." Kate felt her heart rate increase. "What does that mean exactly?" Neri gestured to 2 transparent chambers in the center of the room. "Your human lungs cannot process our air. Your skin would burn under our twin suns. Your bodies are remarkable yet fragile. Adaptations for your world, not ours. We must help you survive on Zora." "You said this was temporary." Tara stepped forward, her hands clenched at her sides. 6 months to help with your genetic restoration project, then return to Earth. That was the agreement. Neri blinked slowly. A gesture Kate had learned indicated something between pity and amusement. "The process is reversible but necessary. We have studied your biology extensively. The changes will not harm you." Kate thought about the millions of people on Earth watching Zora ships in their skies, waiting to see if cooperation would bring rewards or punishment. Earth governments had agreed to the exchange program after learning what Zora technology could offer. Clean energy cures for diseases previously thought incurable, space travel capabilities beyond human imagination. The price seemed small in comparison. 50 humans with specific genetic markers to help another species survive. "What will happen to us?" Kate asked. "Your lungs will develop secondary filtering systems. Your skin will produce natural protection against our radiation. Your nervous systems will adjust to our gravity," Neri explained. "Your minds will remain your own. Your memories intact. Your humanity preserved. While your bodies adapt." Kate exchanged glances with Tara. They had both volunteered after the initial selection. Both believed in building peaceful relations with the first confirmed alien species to contact Earth. But trust remained fragile that night. Kate could not sleep. She stood again at the viewing panel, watching unfamiliar stars. The ship had entered faster than light travel hours ago, Earth no longer visible even as a distant point of light. She was truly alone among aliens. Her reflection stared back at her from the dark panel. Ordinary brown hair, ordinary brown eyes. An ordinary woman from an ordinary life on Earth. Now part of something extraordinary. Kate had been a botanist specializing in plant adaptation to extreme environments. Her work had been important but small scale. Now she found herself part of the most significant adaptation experiment in human history. The next morning, the adaptation process began. Kate lay inside the transparent chamber while Zora technology hummed around her. A mist filled the space, cool against her skin. The process was painless but strange. She could feel changes happening at a cellular level. Her breathing shifted. Her skin tingled. Her perception altered slightly, colors becoming more vivid, sounds more layered. When she emerged 3 hours later, Kate felt different, stronger, somehow more alert. Her lungs drew in air with new efficiency. Her skin felt more sensitive yet also more resilient. Neri explained that the changes would continue. Gradually over the next few days, as Kate adjusted to her modified body, the ship continued its journey toward Zora. The daily routine became almost normal. Training sessions in the morning, where Kate and Tara learned about Zora culture, language, and technology. Afternoons in the laboratory helping the scientists understand human genetic structures. Evenings free for rest and reflection. Kate began to notice other changes beyond the physical. She dreamed differently. Vivid dreams of places she had never seen, landscapes with purple skies and twin suns. Strange forests with plants that moved and sang. When she mentioned these dreams to Neri, the scientist seemed pleased but unsurprised. Your mind connects now to the collective memory. Neri explained, all Zora share memories across generations. You access only fragments, but it shows the adaptation progresses well. You never mentioned mind connections. Kate felt a chill run through her modified body. What else haven't you told us, Neri? Made a gesture Kate had not seen before, hands spreading then coming together. Humans fear what they do not understand. We introduce changes gradually, for your comfort. Trust continued to erode. Kate began keeping a private journal recording every key change she noticed in herself and Tara. She hid the journal, though she suspected the Zora could access it if they wished. Privacy seemed to be a concept they understood but did not value. 5 days before reaching Zora homeworld, Kate discovered something unusual. While helping in the laboratory, she accessed a data terminal. Finding herself momentarily alone, she quickly searched for information about the genetic restoration project. But what she found instead was a file labeled Human Integration Timeline. The file contained detailed plans for not 50 humans but thousands, genetic templates for adapting entire human populations, terraforming proposals not for Earth, but for humans themselves. Kate's heart raced as she realized the truth. The Zora had not come to Earth for help. They had come for compatible biological material. Their dying world needed new, adaptable life forms. Human beings with their remarkable capacity for survival in changing conditions were the perfect solution. Kate downloaded the information to her personal device, then carefully cleared evidence of her search. When Tara returned, Kate said nothing, her mind racing with implications and possibilities. Their situation had suddenly become much more dangerous. The adaptation process was not to help them survive temporarily on Zora. It was the first step in transforming humans into something the Zora could use to save their species. That night, Kate made a decision. She would find a way to warn Earth, even from this impossible distance. Even against the technology of beings centuries advanced beyond humanity, she would not allow her species to become simply biological material for another world's salvation. She was still human, despite the changes, despite the distance, despite the odds. And humans had always been good at one thing above all others, surviving against impossible odds. The ship hummed around her, carrying Kate toward an alien world with unimaginable plans. Her modified lungs drew in recycled Air. Her altered eyes blinked in the dim light of her quarters. Tomorrow she would begin searching for a way to send a message home. Before it was too late. For now she needed rest. The real adaptation had just begun. Not of her body, but of her mind. Planning, resisting, surviving, that was the true human way. Kate woke to the sound of soft chimes, the ship announcing morning in its gentle way. She sat up, feeling the strange new strength in her muscles. The adaptation continued to progress, her body changing in small but noticeable ways. Her skin now had a faint silvery sheen when caught in certain light. Her vision could detect colors beyond what humans normally saw. The changes frightened her but also fascinated the scientist part of her mind. She dressed quickly in the uniform provided by the Zora, a simple gray jumpsuit with strange symbols indicating her status as an Earth visitor. The material adjusted to her body temperature, keeping her perfectly comfortable. Another small miracle of Zora technology. Tara was waiting in the corridor. Outside her quarters, Kate studied her friend, noticing similar changes, silver flecks in her green eyes, skin with an almost luminous quality, hair that seemed to float slightly, even in normal gravity. "You saw something," Tara said quietly as they walked toward the dining hall. "Yesterday in the lab, you've been different since then." Kate hesitated. The ship had eyes and ears. The Zora monitored everything. At least that's what she suspected. Instead of speaking, she took out her personal device, pretending to check the daily schedule. While doing so, she typed a message and showed it briefly to Tara. The message was simple. The Zora lied. Tara's eyes widened, but she gave no other reaction. They continued walking in silence, entering the dining hall where 4 other humans sat with their Zora supervisors. The humans all showed signs of adaptation. Silver-tinged skin, enhanced eyes, fluid movements, betraying altered muscle structure. None of them seemed concerned. They ate their meals and chatted with the aliens, discussing the upcoming arrival at Zora. Homeworld Kate filled her tray with food that resembled Earth cuisine, but wasn't quite right. The flavors were enhanced, the nutritional content modified to support their changing bodies. She sat beside Tara at the end of a long table. "We arrive tomorrow," a male voice said. Kate looked up to see Vero, one of the Zora navigators, his tall form graceful as he joined them. "Your first glimpse of our world. Your new home." "Temporary home," Kate corrected, maintaining her facade of cooperation. Vero made the now familiar gesture that indicated amusement. "Of course, many things begin as temporary and become permanent. You may find you prefer our world to your own, once fully adapted." Kate forced a smile. "I'm looking forward to seeing it." After breakfast, Kate and Tara reported to the laboratory for their daily work assignment. Neri assigned them to catalog genetic samples taken from all 50 humans aboard. The monotonous task gave Kate opportunity to think. She needed to find a way to access the ship's communication system, to send a warning to Earth. But the technology was alien, the interfaces designed for Zora, not humans. During a moment when the scientists were distracted, Kate whispered to Tara, "Meet me in the observation deck tonight, middle sleep cycle." Tara gave a slight nod, continuing her work without hesitation. The day passed slowly, Kate performing her duties while secretly observing everything might be useful. The way Zora scientists accessed secure systems, the command phrases they used, the rhythm of ship operations. She compiled mental notes, building a plan that night when the ship dimmed its lights for sleep cycle. Kate waited in her quarters, counting. Minutes, 3 hours passed before she felt safe to move. The door to her quarters opened silently. The corridors were empty as she made her way to the observation deck. The huge room with its transparent ceiling and walls offered breathtaking views of space. It was also one of the few places without constant surveillance, a place for meditation, the Zora called it. Sacred space. Tara was already waiting, her form silhouetted against the starfield. "Tell me," she said, as Kate approached. Kate explained everything. The file she'd discovered, the real purpose of the adaptation, the plans for thousands more humans, they're dying out. Kate finished. "Their genetic line is failing. They need new biological material to incorporate into their species. They chose us because we're adaptable. Earth has forced us to evolve through countless climate changes, natural disasters. Human bodies can survive almost anywhere with enough time to adapt. The Zora want that quality, they want us. Tara was silent for a long moment. I've noticed things too. Records of previous collection missions, not just Earth. Other worlds, other species, most failed. The adaptations rejected, but humans are promising. All 50 of us are responding well to the changes. We need to warn Earth, Kate said, before they send more humans. How? Tara gestured to the vastness of space around them. We're light years from home on an alien ship surrounded by technology we barely understand. Kate moved closer, lowering her voice further. I've been watching the communication officers. The ship sends regular updates to Zora homeworld. They use a quantum entanglement system, but the physical interface is biological. Like everything Zora, they merge with the system. Their consciousness joins with the ship to transmit. So unless you've become more Zora, then you're admitting we can't use it. Tara frowned. Not directly, Kate agreed. But the adaptation changes us in ways the Zora might not fully understand. I've been having dreams, connections to their collective memory. What if the changes work both ways? What if we can access their systems through our altered biology? It sounded impossible even as she said it. But Kate had noticed something during her regular scans. Her brain patterns were changing, developing new pathways. Neural structures similar to the Zora, but with human variations. The Zora studied these changes with great interest, modifying the adaptation process constantly, but they might not realize the implications. We need to try. Kate said, tomorrow we reach Zora. We may not get another chance. They formed a plan simple but desperate. Kate would create a distraction in the laboratory, an accident damaging equipment requiring all scientists to respond. Tara would use that opportunity to access the communication room, attempting to connect with the system using her adapted biology. They had no way to know if it would work, but they had to try. As they finished planning, the observation deck door slid open. Kate turned expecting to see Zora guards. Instead, Neri entered alone, her silver eyes reflecting starlight. Humans have always been interesting, she said, moving toward them with fluid grace. So resourceful, so determined to survive. Kate felt her heart sink. They had been discovered. Your plan would not work. Neri continued. The communication system requires more adaptation than you have achieved. Your minds are only beginning to connect with our collective. Then you know why we're here. Tara said, her voice steady despite the fear Kate could sense from her. I have known your concerns since they formed in your minds. Neri made a gesture Kate had not seen before, hands crossing, then separating. Your adaptation includes limited connection to the collective. The connection works both ways. Your thoughts touch ours. Our thoughts touch yours. You've been reading our minds. Kate felt violated, angry. The changes to her body were not just physical, but mental invasion, not reading, not controlling, simply aware as you are aware of your own limbs. Neri explained. This frightens you because humans value separation, individuality. We value connection, unity, the sharing of experience. You lied about your intentions. Kate accused. You're not taking humans to help with a genetic project, you're harvesting us. Neri seemed genuinely confused. We did not lie, we simplified. The human governments understood the genetic material of 50 volunteers in exchange for technology that will save billions of human lives, fair exchange. The governments knew. Kate felt cold suddenly. They knew and sent us anyway. They knew we required biological material. They knew volunteers would be changed. They did not ask for details humans rarely do when the benefits seem great enough. Neri moved to the observation window. Look. The ship had dropped out of faster-than-light travel. A planet appeared in the distance. Beautiful blue and silver swirling clouds over landmasses glowing with light. Zora. Neri said, once home to billions, now fewer than million remain. Our genetic line fails with each generation. Fewer births, more defects. We studied hundreds of species seeking compatibility. Humans are the first true match. Your adaptability, your resilience, your capacity for change. These are qualities we need, so you'll take more humans. Turn them into what breeding stock? Tara's voice held disgust. No. Neri turned back to them. We will share what we are. The adapted humans will join with Zora creating something new. Neither human nor Zora, but both the children born will carry the best of both species. A continuation, not an ending. And if we refuse? Kate asked. You may return to Earth after studying our world. Neri said. The adaptations can be reversed, though not completely. You would carry some Zora within you always, but the choice is yours. It has always been yours. We do not force evolution. We invite it. Kate looked at Tara. Both women processing this revelation. The truth more complex than either had imagined. Not conquest, not harvesting, but merger. A desperate species seeking survival through willing partnership. Come. Neri gestured toward the door. Rest now. Tomorrow you see our world. Then decide what future you choose for yourselves. For humanity, for Zora. No choice made in fear is true choice. The descent to Zora filled Kate with wonder and dread in equal measure. The ship moved through swirling clouds glowing with bioluminescent particles. Unlike Earth weather, these clouds contained living organisms, microscopic creatures that fed on solar radiation and created the shimmering effect visible from space. From the viewing deck, Kate and the other humans watched as the landscape revealed itself. Strange forests with trees that moved not just with wind, but with apparent purpose vast. Cities built not of metal and concrete, but living material structures that grew and changed mountains, floating impossibly above deep valleys held aloft by forces Kate could not comprehend. The anti-gravity fields are natural to our world. Neri explained, standing beside Kate. Certain mineral formations disrupt our planet's gravity, creating these phenomena. Your scientists would find them fascinating. Kate nodded wordlessly. Her adapted eyes could see energy patterns around the floating island swirls of force invisible to normal human vision. Another change, another step away from her humanity. The ship landed on a platform extending from a massive structure that resembled a giant flower. The landing pad itself seemed alive, shifting slightly to accommodate the ship's weight. Kate felt a strange sensation as the ship systems connected with the Planet A resonance in her modified body, as though she too were connecting with something larger. The humans were guided through a series of chambers, each more beautiful than the last. Walls that rippled with color, floors that adjusted to their footsteps, ceilings that displayed what appeared to be star maps but constantly shifting everywhere. Kate looked. Life and technology merged seamlessly. The Zora did not build their world, they grew. It shaped it, communed with it. They were brought to what Neri called the Adaptation Center, a vast dome with individual living quarters, gardens, and research facilities. This would be their home for the coming months as they completed their adaptation and learned about Zora. Culture Kate's quarters were spacious, comfortable, and strangely familiar. The room had configured itself based on her thoughts pulled from her connection to the Zora collective. The bed resembled her bed on Earth. The lighting matched her preferences. There were even plants similar to those she had kept in her apartment. Your comfort is important, Neri said from the doorway. The environment will help ease the final stages of adaptation. And if I choose to return to Earth, Kate asked, testing the truth of Neri's earlier statement, then it will help maintain your health until reversal can begin. Neri responded without hesitation. But I hope you will explore our world first. Understand what we offer before deciding. That night, Kate lay awake on the too-perfect bed. The connection to the collective grew stronger on the planet. She could feel the thoughts of Zora, not as words, but impressions, emotions, memories, fleeting and fragmented. She tried to block them, focusing on her own thoughts, her own identity, but the boundaries felt increasingly fluid. In the morning, Kate found Tara in the communal garden, a beautiful space filled with plants from both Earth and Zora. The Earth plants had been modified to survive in Zora's atmosphere just as the humans had been. "I can feel them," Tara said as Kate joined her beside a pool of swirling silver liquid. Their thoughts, their hopes, their fear. Fear. Kate had not expected that. Tara nodded. "They're dying, Kate. Not just their genetic line, their entire civilization, their connection to this planet. Everything they've built over thousands of years fading, they're desperate." Kate had felt the impressions, but had not interpreted them as clearly as Tara. Perhaps her friend's adaptation had progressed further, or perhaps Tara was simply more open to the connection. "Does that change anything?" Kate asked. "They still lied to us. They still plan to use humans. To save themselves. Use us or join with us," Tara countered. "I'm not sure there's a difference to them. Their understanding of identity is so different from ours. They don't see individuals. They see the collective, the species, the continuation of consciousness." Azora approached them, one Kate had not met before, taller than Neri with skin that shifted colors like an octopus. "I am Liren," he introduced himself. "I will be your guide today, if you wish to learn." Kate and Tara exchanged glances, then nodded. They needed to understand this world better, whatever they ultimately decided. Liren took them beyond the adaptation center into the city itself. The structures were even more impressive up close. Buildings that responded to those within, them streets that guided travelers' pathways that appeared and disappeared based on need. The entire city functioned as a single organism with the Zora as both its creators and components. "How many of you are there?" Kate asked as they walked through what seemed to be a central plaza, though few Zora were visible. 900,000. Liren answered. "Once we numbered billions, but each generation fewer children survive. The connection weakens, the collective diminishes, and humans are the solution." Tara stated rather than asked, "You are compatible. Your genetic structure can be integrated with ours. Your adaptability is remarkable. Your species survived catastrophes that would have ended others." Liren's skin rippled with emotion. "But more than biology, you bring new perspective. New thoughts. The collective grows stagnant without fresh minds." He led them to a structure unlike the others. A perfect sphere suspended above the ground. No visible entrance, no windows. Just smooth silver surface, reflecting the strange light of Zora's twin suns. "This is our memory," Liren said. "The complete history of our species, our achievements, our failures, our knowledge, all preserved within the collective consciousness. All Zora connect here, all contribute, all benefit." The sphere shimmered and an opening appeared. Liren gestured for them to enter. Kate hesitated, but Tara stepped forward. Without conscious thought, Kate followed, unable to let her friend enter alone. Inside was nothing and everything at once. The space seemed infinite yet enclosed. Patterns of light swirled around them, forming images, then dissolving into new ones. Kate saw star maps, mathematical equations, artistic creations beyond human imagination. The history of an entire species, displayed in living memory. "This is what fades," Liren said, his voice echoing strangely. "This is what we fight to preserve, not just our bodies, but our knowledge, our perspective, millions of years of evolution and growth." Kate felt overwhelmed. The human mind was not designed to process so much information, but her adapted mind could grasp fragments, could see the pattern in the chaos, the beauty in the complexity. She understood suddenly what the Zora feared losing, not just their lives, but their collective soul. They spent hours within the memory sphere, Kate absorbing as much as her mind could handle, learning about Zora history, their evolution from aquatic beings, their development of biotechnology, their expansion to other worlds, their eventual decline. When they finally emerged, Kate felt changed. Not physically, but mentally. Her understanding of the Zora had deepened. Her perspective had shifted. The isolation of human consciousness suddenly seemed limiting compared to the vast connection of the collective. "Do you understand now?" Liren asked as they walked back toward the adaptation center. "I think so," Kate said slowly. "You don't want to replace us. You want to evolve with us. Create something new that preserves both species." "Yes." Liren's skin glowed with approval. "Separate we fade, together we might flourish." That night, Kate dreamed more vividly than ever before, not fragments of Zora memory, but coherent experiences. She saw Earth through alien eyes, the beauty of oceans and forests, the strange wonder of human cities, the complexity of human relationships. She felt the Zora's fascination with humanity's contradictions, our capacity for both destruction and creation, our individualism and our community, our resilience and our fragility. When she woke, Kate found Neri waiting in her quarters. The Zora scientist sat motionless in a corner, her silver eyes fixed on Kate. "You connected deeply with the collective," Neri observed. "Your adaptation progresses." "Well, it wasn't my choice," Kate said, sitting up. "The connection, it's becoming harder to block." "Why block it?" Neri asked with genuine curiosity. "The sharing of consciousness is our greatest achievement. The end of isolation, the beginning of true understanding. Humans value privacy. Our thoughts are our own." Kate tried to explain, "Our individuality defines us, yet you suffer for it." Neri responded, "Loneliness, misunderstanding, conflict, all stemming from separation. We offer connection, understanding, unity at the cost of who we are, not lost, transformed, enhanced, the best of humanity preserved, the limitations transcended." Kate considered this. For days she had fought the changes, feared the loss of her humanity. But what if humanity was not static? What if evolution continued not just physically but mentally? What if the next step for humans was not better technology but better connection? "The others?" Kate asked, suddenly aware she had seen little of the other humans. "How are they responding?" "Most embrace the change," Neri said. "Some resist, some fear. Some like you question, but all progress, all adapt. It is the human way, is it not? To adapt, to survive, to grow." Kate rose from her bed, moving to the window that overlooked the alien city. Beautiful, terrifying, otherworldly, yet increasingly familiar. Her reflection showed the changes more pronounced now. Silver eyes like the Zora skin that shifted slightly with her emotions, hair that seemed alive with energy. "And Earth?" she asked. "Your plans for the rest of humanity?" Days on Zora passed differently than on Earth. The twin suns created longer daylight cycles, strange twilight periods, and brief nights. Kate adjusted to the rhythm, finding her body naturally syncing with the planet's rotation. Another sign of her continuing adaptation. Each day brought new discoveries. Kate and Tara explored the city, meeting more Zora, learning their customs, history, and technology. The Zora treated them with respect, sometimes curiosity, but never as specimens. The relationship felt increasingly like cultural exchange rather than scientific study. Kate found herself drawn to the biological research centers. The Zora approach to science differed fundamentally from human methods. They did not observe and manipulate from a distance. They communed with organisms, creating symbiotic relationships. Understanding came through connection, not dissection. In one such center, Kate watched as Zora scientists communicated with plant life. The plants responded, visibly shifting color, structure even moving toward or away from the scientists. Kate could sense fragments of the exchange through her growing connection to the collective. The plants shared information about soil conditions, light requirements, reproductive concerns. The scientists offered solutions, genetic adjustments, environmental changes. "Remarkable," Kate whispered. "You could learn this skill," a voice said beside her. Kate turned to see an older Zora, her silver skin etched with intricate patterns that Kate now recognized as signs of age and status. "I am Elira." The elder Zora introduced herself. "I oversee biological integration." "You mean?" The Human Adaptation Program, Kate clarified. Among others. Elira gestured for Kate to follow her deeper into the research center. All life on Zora exists in balance. Integration allows new species to join our ecosystem without disruption. They entered a chamber Kate had not seen before. Inside, transparent containment units held various organisms. Some resembled Earth creatures. Others were entirely alien. All showed signs of adaptation: silver-streaked fur scales or skin, modified respiratory systems, altered sensory organs. These came from other worlds, Elira explained. Species we encountered during our exploration, compatible life capable of integration. You've done this before. Kate felt a chill. Brought other species here, changed them. For mutual benefit? Yes. Elira moved between the containers. This avian species faced extinction on their dying world. We preserved them through adaptation. They thrive now in our southern forests. Their songs enhance our collective. Their unique perception adds depth to our understanding. Kate studied the creatures, seeing the changes, but also the essence of what they had been before. Something preserved, something transformed. And these beings agreed. Kate asked. They chose this. Elira's expression shifted in a way Kate had come to recognize as amusement. Some species do not communicate as you do. Choice takes different forms. Survival itself is a choice, life choosing to continue. But humans communicate very clearly, Kate insisted, and choice matters to us. Yes, Elira acknowledged. Which is why you 50 were brought first to experience, to understand, to choose. And to help us understand you better, your minds are complex. Your society, intricate. We must learn the right approach for full integration. The implication was clear. The Zora still planned wider contact with humanity. The 50 humans were not just potential genetic material, but cultural ambassadors, test subjects for methods that would later be applied to all of Earth. What happens at the final stage of adaptation? Kate asked, changing direction. Neri mentioned, it approaches. Elira led Kate to another chamber. This one empty except for a pool of swirling silver liquid similar to what Kate had seen in the gardens, but larger, deeper. The synthesis, Elira said. Complete integration with the collective physically, mentally, a joining that cannot be undone. Kate stared at the pool, feeling both attraction and fear. The liquid called to her adapted body, her cells seeming to resonate with it. Yet her mind, her human identity resisted. Has anyone? 3 of your kind have completed the synthesis. Elira confirmed. They have joined us fully. Their memories, knowledge, experience is now part of our collective, their genetic material preserved for the next generation, and they can't return to human form. They would not wish to, Elira said with certainty. Once experienced, the collective cannot be abandoned without great loss. The isolated consciousness seems painfully limited. Kate left the research center with new understanding and new concerns the Zora offered. Transcendence, but at the cost of humanity. Not just physical adaptation, but complete transformation. The end of individual identity. The beginning of something else entirely. She found Tara in their shared garden. Her friend sat cross-legged beside, the silver pool eyes closed, hands resting lightly on her knees. Kate recognized the meditation posture the Zora had taught them to help manage the increasing connection to the collective. You visited the research center, Tara said without opening. Her eyes, Kate no longer found it surprising that Tara knew her friend's connection to the collective had grown stronger faster. I saw the synthesis chamber. Kate sat beside Tara. Did you know 3 humans have already completed it? Tara opened, her eyes now shimmering silver with barely a trace of their original green. I knew I can feel them in the collective. Their experiences, their joy. You can't know if that's real or just what the Zora want us to perceive. Kate argued, the collective doesn't lie, Kate. Tara turned to face her. It can't. The shared consciousness makes deception impossible. Every thought, every feeling is transparent. Unless they control what reaches us, Kate insisted. We're not fully connected. We only get impressions, fragments. Tara smiled sadly. You're still fighting it. The adaptation, the connection. You cling to separation. I cling to being human. But what does that mean? Tara gestured to her own changed body. Look at us. We're already something new. Neither fully human nor Zora. The only question is whether we complete the journey or remain caught between worlds. Kate had no answer. The changes in her body, her mind, her perception had progressed too far to deny. The human she had been on Earth would not recognize the being she had become. Yet some core of identity remained, some essence she could not name, but felt compelled to preserve. That night, Kate received a message from Neri. The final adaptation cycle would begin in 3 days. Those who wished to complete the synthesis would be prepared. Those who wished reversal would begin the process. Kate had to choose. Sleep eluded her, her mind filled with conflicting thoughts, emotions, memories, both her own and fragments from the collective. She felt pulled in multiple directions. The scientific part of her fascinated by the possibilities, the human part terrified of losing herself, the new adapted part yearning for deeper connection. When morning came, Kate sought out the other humans. Needing to understand their perspectives, she found many had already decided. Most intended to complete the synthesis, their human forms already showing advanced adaptation, silver skin, enlarged eyes, elongated fingers, bodies preparing for the final transformation. I don't understand, Kate said to one woman, Mary, a former physicist whose skin now rippled with changing patterns. How can you give up your humanity so easily? Mary looked at Kate with eyes that held galaxies. What am I giving up? Pain, isolation, limitation. And what am I gaining? Understanding, connection, purpose. The collective needs what we bring. Kate, our adaptability, our creativity, our different perspective. We aren't being erased, we're being incorporated, preserved, transformed. Others shared similar views. The Zora offered something humans had always sought: connection, understanding, transcendence. The end of loneliness. The beginning of shared consciousness. The limitations of individual existence expanded into something greater only. 5 humans besides Kate expressed doubts, plans to return to Earth to reverse the adaptation. As much as possible, Kate sought them out, finding comfort in their similar concerns. But even they acknowledged the pull of the collective, the difficulty of returning to isolation after experiencing connection. On the second day, Kate wandered the city alone, her thoughts churning, her deadline approaching, her choice still unmade. Near the central plaza, she found a structure she had not noticed before, different from the organic architecture of most Zora buildings. This one appeared constructed rigid, geometric. Curious, she approached. The door opened as she neared, revealing a space that shocked her. The interior resembled an Earth apartment, complete with human furniture, books, even plants from Earth. A television sat in one corner. A refrigerator hummed softly. An old record player sat on a shelf beside vinyl albums. A Zora emerged from what appeared to be a kitchen area. This one different from others Kate had met, shorter, less fluid in movement, eyes more focused. Welcome, the Zora said in perfect unaccented English. I wondered if you would find me. Who are you? Kate asked, stepping cautiously into the strange, familiar space. I am Vela, the Zora replied. Or was, once I was Dr. Valerie Chen, Earth scientist, first contact specialist. Kate stared, uncomprehending. You're human. I was, Vela confirmed. 20. Earth years ago, I came to Zora, much like you. Part of first contact, different. Ship, different circumstances, same outcome. Adaptation, integration, synthesis. You were the first. Kate realized. The prototype. Yes. Vela gestured to the human surroundings. I maintain this space as reminder, as connection to what I was, though. Less necessary with each passing cycle, you chose to become Zora permanently. The day of choice dawned with both suns rising simultaneously. Casting double shadows across the adaptation center, Kate watched the strange light play across her silver-streaked skin. Each passing hour brought stronger connection to the collective, more thoughts not her own, more memories belonging to others, the boundaries of her mind growing increasingly permeable. She dressed in the ceremonial garment provided a simple white robe that responded to her body temperature and emotional state. The fabric shifted subtly with her anxiety, showing ripples of blue and gold. Tara appeared at her door also dressed in ceremonial white. Her transformation more advanced than Kate's, her eyes fully silver, her movements more fluid, almost dancing rather than walking. "Have you decided?" Tara asked, though Kate suspected she already knew the answer through their shared connection. "I don't know," Kate admitted. "Every time I think I've made a choice, something pulls me in the opposite direction." Tara took her hand, the touch sending waves of emotion between them. The connection between adapted humans had grown stronger too, not just with the Zora collective but with each other. A network of shared consciousness. "Whatever you choose, I respect it," Tara said, "but know this, if you return to Earth, you return alone. I have chosen synthesis." Kate felt a pang of loss. Though not surprised, Tara had embraced the adaptation from the beginning, finding wonder where Kate found fear, possibility. Where Kate saw danger. "I'll miss you," Kate said, realizing how inadequate the words were to express the severing of their growing mental connection. "Part of me will always be with you," Tara replied. "Whether through the collective or through memory, some connections transcend physical form." They walked together to the central chamber where the ceremony would take place, a vast space with the synthesis pool at its center, larger than the one Kate had seen before. The silver liquid swirled with patterns of light, dancing across its surface, calling to the adapted humans. The Zora gathered around the edges of the chamber. Hundreds of them, their silver bodies forming a living circle. Neri and Elira stood at the head of the pool, flanking an elder Kate had not met before this one. Ancient by Zora standards, skin etched with complex patterns that seemed to tell the history of their species. The 49 other humans entered in their white robes. Some moved eagerly toward the pool, others held back uncertainty. In their silver eyes, Kate recognized the 5 who had expressed doubts. They clustered together, separate from those who had embraced the transformation. Elira stepped forward, addressing the assembled group. "Today, you choose your path, your future, the continuation of both our species or the maintenance of separation. Both choices honored, both paths respected." The ancient Zora spoke next, voice resonating with harmonics that vibrated in Kate's chest. "Those who choose synthesis step forward. Those who choose return remain in place. No judgment, no pressure, only choice." Kate watched as Tara and 37 other humans moved toward the pool, their faces serene, their movements graceful, as though already part of the collective they formed. A circle around the silver liquid waiting for further instruction, Kate remained with the 11 others, uncertain, conflicted. The pull of the collective grew stronger in the ceremonial space. The thoughts of so many Zora pressing against her consciousness, their curiosity, their hope, their respect for whatever choice she made. Neri approached those who remained. "You choose return." "I'm still deciding," Kate said, while the others nodded confirmation. "The moment approaches." Neri gestured to the pool where the 38 humans now disrobed, stepping naked into the silver liquid. The substance rose to meet them, flowing up their bodies. Embracing them, Kate felt their emotions through the connection. Joy, wonder, transcendence. As each human submerged, completely, the liquid pulsed with light. The collective consciousness expanding. Absorbing, incorporating. Tara was among the last to submerge. Her eyes finding Kate one final time, sending a wave of reassurance before she slipped beneath the surface. The process took nearly an hour, the pool pulsing with each new addition. The Zora around the chamber swaying in rhythm with the pulses, their collective mind expanding, growing, changing with each human consciousness. Added. When it finished, the pool settled, 38 fewer humans existed as individuals. 38 new consciousnesses joined the Zora collective. The silver liquid rippled, then parted. 38 forms rose, new beings. Neither human nor Zora, but something else entirely. Taller than humans. Silver-skinned with remnants of human features. Eyes that held stars. Bodies that shifted with emotion. Kate watched as Tara, or the being that had been Tara, stepped from the pool. Her new form radiating energy consciousness beyond what Kate could fully comprehend. Yet through their connection, Kate felt her friend still present. Her memories intact. Her essence preserved but expanded, transformed, elevated. The 11 who had chosen return were led to a separate chamber. Here, another pool, awaited not silver but blue. The reversal process would begin immediately, allowing them to return to Earth as soon as possible. Though, as Neri had explained, the changes could never be completely undone. They would carry Zora within them, always changed. Always between. Kate stood at the threshold between chambers, the synthesis behind her, the reversal ahead, the moment of choice upon her. You must decide now. Neri said gently, the processes cannot wait. Kate closed her eyes, focusing inward. Past the noise of the collective, past the fear and doubt, to the core of who she was, who she had been, who she might become. She thought of Earth, her home, her past. She thought of Zora, her potential future. She thought of humanity standing at the edge of its next great evolutionary leap. She opened her eyes, silver meeting silver, as she faced Neri. I choose. The words hung in the air for a moment, Kate feeling their weight, their finality, their possibility. Then she moved, stepping not toward reversal but back toward the synthesis chamber, where the silver pool still swirled with energy, where the transformed beings that had been human now communed with their Zora counterparts, where Tara, in her new form, watched with eyes that held galaxies. I choose. Evolution. Kate said the words, feeling right as they left her lips. I choose connection. Neri nodded without surprise. Perhaps she had sensed Kate's decision through the collective, or perhaps she had simply observed Kate's journey more clearly than Kate herself. The second ceremony was smaller. Just Kate and the Zora. The newly transformed watching as she approached the pool. She removed the white robe, standing naked before the silver liquid. Her changed body already more Zora than human. Her mind already reaching toward the collective. As Kate stepped into the pool, the liquid embraced her. Cool at first, then warm, then seeming to match her body temperature exactly. It rose around her, clinging to her skin, seeping into her pores, her lungs, her cells. She felt no fear, only wonder as her consciousness expanded. The final submersion brought not darkness but light, not ending but beginning, her mind opening, connecting, joining with millions of others. Her memories, skills, knowledge flowing outward, herself not lost but transformed, expanded. Her human perspective adding new depth to the ancient collective. When Kate rose from the pool, she was no longer simply Kate. She was herself and more. Her consciousness both individual and shared. Her body both human and Zora. Her understanding beyond what either species alone could comprehend. Through the collective, she felt the 11 humans beginning their reversal. Their regret, their resolve, their fear. She sent them reassurance. Their choice, too, was valid. Their journey important. They would return to Earth carrying knowledge of Zora. The first bridges between worlds. She felt Tara beside her. Their connection now complete beyond what words could express. They shared not just thoughts, but entire landscapes of consciousness. Experience, emotion, understanding. No longer separate beings but aspects of something larger, yet still uniquely themselves. The ancient Zora approached the newly transformed, placing hands upon their foreheads. One by one, you bring renewal. The next evolution begins with you. Neither ending nor replacement, but continuation, growth, change, hope. In that touch, Kate understood the full history of Zora. Millions of years of evolution, countless adaptations, integrations, transformations. The rise and fall of civilizations, the constant search for balance, connection, harmony, the recent decline that threatened extinction, and now new possibility through humanity. Not conquest, not replacement, but synthesis. True joining, of compatible species creating something greater than either alone. Through the collective, Kate reached outward beyond Zora, to Earth so distant yet connected now through the transformed humans. She felt the planet, her first home. The billions of minds there isolated yet yearning for connection. The potential for humanity to evolve beyond limitation, beyond conflict, beyond separation. The 11 who chose return would arrive on Earth changed, their bodies partially reversed, their minds forever altered. They would speak of Zora, of transformation, of possibility. Some humans would fear, reject, deny. Others would wonder, question, seek. And some would choose as Kate had chosen. The path of evolution, Kate stood with her new form among the others, the first generation of something new. Something that honored both human and Zora, yet transcended both. Her consciousness expanding throughout the collective. Her understanding growing with each moment. The universe opening before her, not as something to observe but something to join.